sometimes our greatest prayer should be, God, would you open up my eyes so that I can see who I am supposed to be in your kingdom, that I would not compare myself to everything that came before me or the things coming up behind me, but that I would trust that you placed me in this position because no one else could do it like me but me. Part of the reason why this is going to be a little awkward is because of all of my father's children, I was the least likely to be in ministry. And because I thought the Bible was boring, which Lisa already told me I was boring. It wasn't the Bible, it was me, it's fine. But part of my mission in life is to make it less boring for people. And so I like to share ministry in a way that is relatable. Part of what I think God wants me to do, I'm just waiting for confirmation, is to create an Ebonics version of the Bible. I don't have a release yet, but I feel like it's going to happen before it's all said and done. In this Ebonics version of the Bible, I would just like jump right into the story, you know? So like Genesis would just begin with Eve just going and telling us how she messed it all up for everybody. But it's Ebonics, so she's got to say it in a way that we can understand. She would be like, in the West Garden of Eden, I was born, put out and raised. By the Euphrates is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing and relaxing, all cool, till a creeping little serpent came up and messed up my groove. It's Ebonics. It's going to be amazing. It's going to take off. You guys should pre-order it on Amazon right now. Sell like hotcakes. The only thing that I haven't quite figured out for my Ebonics version of Eve's story in the Bible is how I'm going to explain the beef that took place between her and the serpent. Because in the Ebonics version, I want to say that her and the serpent had beef, you know. For those of you unfamiliar with beef, I'm actually not talking about filet. I am talking about a word that we use in some circles in culture that explains when you have a disagreement of sorts with someone. Yeah, I would say that they had beef, but I love the way the King James Version puts it. It says that they have enmity. Enmity is such an incredible word. I looked up the definition because I wanted to share it with you. Enmity means the state or feeling of being actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. In Genesis 3:15, God says to the serpent, I'm going to put enmity between you and the woman, and that her seed will bruise your head, but your seed will bruise her heel. That word enmity, I love that word enmity. I'm going to read it one more time. It says the state or feeling of being actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. And I don't know about you, but there are moments for me when I feel that enmity. I feel that opposition from the enemy. I feel that hostility from the enemy. It's like I take 2 steps forward and sometimes he takes me 10 steps backwards. It feels like every time I start pursuing that vision and that identity that God has for me, that he sends someone who reminds me of who I used to be, or the shame from who I was creeps up behind me. I feel that hostility every time I start pressing towards the mark. And so that enmity is such a powerful word that I don't think that I could replace it with anything else. But what I love is that God didn't just say that I'm going to put the enmity against the woman from the serpent. He says that this enmity is going to be a two-way street. That the woman is not just going to feel opposed by the serpent, but that the woman is going to represent opposition for the serpent as well. Somebody understands that what I'm saying is that when a woman steps into her purpose, and when a woman steps into who she is in God, that the enemy may have some opposition, but she is opposition for the enemy too. That means that when you registered for Propel and you made arrangements for the kids and you decided that you were going to be in here by any means necessary, I'm going to stand in line at 7 a.m. not because I don't have anything else to do, but because I am opposition for the enemy. And there's a word waiting somewhere with my name on it. I am the enemy's opposition. I know it doesn't look like it because of all I went through, but I'm just dusting off the dirt from what I went through so that I can become the enemy's opposition. I'm not in here to be cute. I'm not in here to play games. I'm in here because I'm opposition against the enemy. He's claimed too many of my women. He's claimed my mother. He claimed my sister, but he can't have me. I'm opposition. I'm your worst nightmare. I'm gonna need a little more heat in the microphone, because I need somebody to know that they are the enemy's worst nightmare. When you woke up this morning and you dressed yourself to come into this room, that demons started trembling, because I didn't want you to get a revelation about who you are, but I came to set somebody free in this place. You are his greatest threat. A woman who knows who she is in God is the enemy's greatest threat. I know that I went through some things that may have bruised my heel, but you still better be afraid of me. It wouldn't have looked like it when I was 13 years old and pregnant, but I was the enemy's greatest threat. It wouldn't have looked like it when you were going through divorce, but you were the enemy's greatest threat. It wouldn't have looked like it when you were struggling with that addiction, but you were the enemy's greatest threat. You are his opposition. And that is why there will always be war over what a woman can put in the earth. Because a woman knows how to take a seed and turn it into a person. She knows how to take a seed and turn it into a nonprofit. She knows how to take a seed and turn it into a business. It wouldn't even make sense if you saw the seed. If you saw what some of these women had gone through, if you would have seen the seed that started Caine, you would have never believed that it would turn into Propel. But she's a woman who recognized that I am the enemy's greatest threat. And I don't know about you, but I feel like it's about time for the enemy to start understanding that enmity is a two-way street. That you're not just going to keep attacking me, and you're not just going to keep depressing me, and you're not just going to keep oppressing me. That I don't care how I have to do it, or who I must become, or what I have to go through to make it to the other side. There's going to come a point in time where you are opposing me, not because of what I went through, but because of what is still yet to come out of me. Still something that must come out of you. And I asked myself, I said, God, why is it that the enmity couldn't be between the serpent and the man? Why did it have to be the woman? This notion that we are the weaker vessels, then why not put the stronger vessel up for the fight? But when I study my word and I look at the character of God, and I believe wholeheartedly that he makes no mistakes, it means that when he put enmity between the woman and the serpent, the woman and the enemy, that it wasn't just a fair fight, that it was a fixed fight. That he didn't put us into this position because he thought that a loss was even possible. That he put us in the position because he knew the win would be guaranteed. That means that not only is it fair, which means that if you roll up your sleeves and you be who God has called you to be, and you start trusting what he says about who you are and what you can do in the earth, that the fight is going to turn in your favor. I hear God telling somebody, you're the woman for the job. I know what the doctor said about the cancer, but I hear God saying, you're the woman for the job. That I put you in a fight that was already fixed. that I put you in a fight that you were bound to win. I know the child is acting crazy. I know they're cutting up on the job, but you are the woman for the job. If you don't hear anything else I say in this place, I want you to know that there is nothing that is happening in your life that is designed to take you out. That thing is designed to birth the best version of you. My girl, my sister, you are the woman for the job. When the enemy tried to make me feel nervous, I told the enemy, you can't have my mind today, because I'm the woman for the job. I'm going to do flat-footed what God has called me to do, because I'm the woman for the job. I'm the woman for the job. Somebody's got to start prophesying over that situation that's trying to tell you you're not going to make it. Honey, I'm the woman for the job. I'm going to raise that child anyway. I'm going to start that business anyway. I don't care what the bank said. I don't need a bank. My God shall provide all of my needs. I'm the woman for the job, baby. I'm the only one who can do what I do the way that I do it. And you're the woman for the job. You're the woman for the job. I want to rebuke depression, trying to make you believe that you're not the woman for the job. I want to rebuke suicide, trying to make you believe that we would be better without you. I bind you, Satan. You have no power here. And when you attacked my sister, you attacked me. I'm the woman for the job. I know how to warfare for the woman who can't war for herself. I'm the woman for the job. So, when we talk about positioning and the way that life has the tendency of putting us in positions that we don't always feel qualified for, I can't help but think about Mary and how God saw that she was the woman for the job, even though Mary initially didn't believe that she was the woman for the job. Man, I can relate to that. Someone says, Pastor, I want to believe that I'm the woman for the job, but if I'm honest, I don't feel qualified. I'm in position, but I don't feel qualified for the position I'm in. And the position is trying to make me believe that I don't have what it takes to make it to the other side. And for a moment, I want to glean some wisdom from Mary that I hope can help you in the position that God has placed you in. Because if we remember, God doesn't make mistakes. And if he called you into that position, no matter how overwhelming the position is, it's because he believes that you are the woman for the job. And so our task then becomes to ask God, what is it that you know about me that would have you place me in this position? Because if you place me in this position, then you know something about me that I don't know yet. And sometimes our greatest prayer should be, God, would you open up my eyes so that I can see who I am supposed to be in your kingdom, that I would not compare myself to everything that came before me or the things coming up behind me, but that I would trust that you place me in this position because no one else could do it like me but me. Mary teaches us that the most powerful thing that any of us can do when we have this feeling is to go anyway. Yeah. So Mary doesn't feel qualified, but she goes anyway. She goes not knowing how she's supposed to take this baby and turn it into a king. When the angel of the Lord appears to Mary, he tells Mary everything that child is going to be. But she doesn't receive the promise in the form that God said that it was going to end up in. God, help me to say it. There are moments when we receive something from God that doesn't look like where it's going to end. Oh, I feel like that's a word for somebody. That you're looking at the baby, wondering how the baby's going to become king. You're looking at the small thing, trying to figure out how is that ever going to become the big thing. God, you told me that I would be the one that would break the generational curse, but right now I look like every other generation that came before me. How am I going to take this small thing and turn it into a big thing? God, you told me that you would bless my business, but I can't even get the financing I need. God says, I didn't give it to you in the form that it's going to end up in. I gave it to you in the form that would grow you up into the person who could raise it into everything that it could be. I feel like somebody's got to get that down in your spirit. Do not despise the days of small beginnings, that it started off small so that you could grow with it. Because when you grow with it, it grows you up. When you grow with it, it grows you up. And so Mary teaches us the power of going anyway. She questions her ability initially, but ultimately, she chooses to trust God's plan for her life. Mary chose to just go anyway. Sometimes you have to just go anyway. God gives you what you need as you go. And sometimes we want all of the answers, and God, I want to know how you're going to do it. I'm not saying I won't go. I'm just saying, can you tell me exactly how it's going to happen? And God says, I'll tell you how it's going to happen when you start moving. Because God is looking for someone who he can order steps along the way. I feel like there's someone in this room that if God gave you all of the steps right now, that you would feel more in control than you actually are. When you go anyway, it is a sign to God that I don't have to have all of the answers. I just want to be where you tell me I am supposed to be. God, I don't know how you're going to do it in my marriage. I don't know how you're going to do it in my family, but I am going to go anyway. And when I go, you meet me where you told me you were going to meet me. When you go, God meets you. He's calling you to where he is. That's why we have to go, because God calls you to where he is. And when we move in that direction, it is a sign to him that we can be trusted. Because there are moments when God orders our steps, but we got to take them first. I got to forgive. I got to go anyway. I want to stay stuck in this bitterness. I want to stay stuck in this pain, but I can't stay here, so I got to go anyway. And Mary starts going anyway. And so some of you are wondering, okay, I'll go anyway. I'll do what God told me to do. I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't have all of the resources that I need in order to do it, but I want to go anyway. And so Mary teaches us a valuable lesson. And if you're taking notes, I want you to write this down, because what Mary teaches us in those moments where we have to go anyway is that the power in going starts with you using what you know. Mary begins to just follow the customs of the Jewish people at that time. God gave her something that is going to ultimately deliver Israel, but right now she doesn't know how it's going to become a deliverer. And so because she doesn't know how she's going to get from A to Z, she just starts working what she knows. She knows that when I have a baby, that I need to wait until my time of purification is over. And after that, I need to go into Jerusalem and I need to present the baby. She works what she knows while she goes. The most powerful thing that any of us can do is activate what we know. Because when we activate what we know, it gives God permission to show us more and to teach us more. Imagine had Eve been in the garden and she simply activated what she knew. There are things that we know about our lives that we haven't activated yet because we don't know what's waiting on the other side. But when you use what you know, it starts to lead you into the direction that God says he's calling you towards. That means the relationship has to end. That means that we have to have the forgiveness down in our heart, even though we don't believe that the person is truly sorry. Our forgiveness is not predicated on whether or not that person is actually sorry. My forgiveness is predicated on the fact that I'm going anyway, that I'm not going to stay stuck where that pain met me. I'm not going to stay stuck where that disappointment met me. I'm going anyway.